Admiral Diane Morgan stood on the observation deck of the EBS Leviathan. The massive ship hummed with power all around her. 20 years of her life went into this project. 20 years of secret work hidden from the public and from the watchful eyes above Earth. The first human battleship built for space travel beyond our solar system was ready. She watched as stars filled the wide window before her. Stars that humans could now reach. The ship stretched nearly 2 miles long. Its hull was black with lines of soft blue light. The weapons systems remained hidden under smooth panels, ready to surprise anyone who thought humans were weak. No one in the galaxy knew what humans had done. They thought Earth was just a planet of simple beings who knew nothing about space travel. They were wrong. For over 50 years, aliens had come to Earth. They took what they wanted. They studied humans like animals. They broke rules set by their own leaders. For profit, Morgan turned. As Lieutenant Kate, Foster walked onto the deck, her steps quick and sure. Kate held up a small screen. Numbers and alien letters flashed across it. They were picking up signals. "We are being noticed," Admiral Kate said. "They know something big just appeared in their space." "Good," Morgan said with a small smile. Her gray eyes showed no fear, only calm determination. She had trained for this moment since the day she learned the truth about aliens. She was 45 now, but stood straight and strong. Her short brown hair had streaks of silver. Her uniform was simple but showed her rank as the highest officer on the ship. "Kate, how many ships can you see on our sensors?" Kate checked her screen. 3 small scout ships. "Admiral, they keep their distance. They watch us." Morgan nodded. "That means we have maybe 2 hours before their battle groups arrive. Tell Susan to prepare the shield matrix." "Yes, Admiral." The Leviathan was special. It carried weapons no human ship had ever used before. But its true power was in its shields. Engineer Susan Rivera had created something new, something that could change everything. The quantum shield matrix could take enemy attacks and turn that energy back against them. Kate left to relay the orders. Morgan stayed at the window. She thought about Earth, the blue planet they had left behind. Most people there still had no idea about aliens. Their governments kept it secret. Only a small group knew the truth. The group that built this ship. Morgan remembered the day everything changed. 22 years ago, a small alien craft crashed in Arizona. Instead of hiding all evidence like before, a brave general decided to keep it. He gathered the best scientists and engineers. He showed them what he found. That day, Project Leviathan began. Morgan touched the window. The stars looked different from out here. No atmosphere to make them twinkle, just pure sharp points of light. One of those points was home. "Now so far away, Admiral, we are ready to send the message," said a voice behind her. Morgan turned to see Communications Officer Amy Wilson standing at attention. Her young face showed both excitement and fear. This was her first mission, her first time in deep space. "Send it," Morgan said. "Tell them who we are. Tell them why we came." Amy nodded and returned to her station. The message would go out on all frequencies in perfect galactic standard, the language all space-traveling species used. The message was simple: "We come seeking peace, but we are prepared for war." Morgan knew what would happen next. The Galactic Council would meet. The 17 species who controlled this part of space would argue. Some would want to destroy the human ship. Others would be curious. A few might even welcome them. What the Council did not know was that humans had a spy among them. Ambassador Heather Blackwell had lived among aliens for years. She served drinks to the Council members. She heard their secrets. She sent reports back to Earth. She would be their eyes and ears during the coming storm. Kate returned. To the observation deck, Admiral Susan reports the Matrix is at full power. "We can absorb and redirect energy at your command. All systems are ready." Morgan nodded. "Good. Now we wait." The plan was not to start a war. It was to prevent one. To show the galaxy that humans could not be taken advantage of anymore. To gain respect through strength. The Leviathan carried no colony ships, no invasion forces. Its mission was to represent Earth, to demand recognition as equals. On the main bridge, crew members worked. At their stations, the atmosphere was tense but focused. These women and men were the best Earth had to offer. They knew what was at stake. Morgan joined them, taking her command chair. Kate stood nearby, monitoring sensor readings Susan called from, engineering with updates. Every person knew their job. Every system was checked and double-checked. Then the sensors lit up. Something big was coming. Several somethings. 3 ships just came out of hyperspace. Admiral Kate reported, "They are Zoltari. Fessel's warships. Their weapons are powered up." Morgan sat straight in her chair, her face calm. This was the moment. This was why they came. "Broadcast on all channels," she ordered. "Tell them we wish to speak to the Council." "Tell them we come in peace," Amy sent the message. The reply came fast in the form of weapons fire. The Zoltari ships fired as one, their energy beams reaching out toward the Leviathan. Morgan did not give orders to evade. She did not call for counterfire. She simply watched as the quantum shield matrix did its work. The shield activated, glowing bright blue as it absorbed the attack. Energy readings spiked as the matrix processed the power. The crew watched in awe. This was the moment of truth. Would Susan's creation work as planned? It did. The shield held the Leviathan remained unharmed. Now Morgan said, her voice steady. "Show them what humans can do." Kate nodded and pressed a series of commands. The energy collected by the shield focused into a single point, then released a beam of the Zoltari's own energy shot back at them. But Morgan had ordered precision. The beam hit only the lead ship's engines, leaving the rest intact. The message was clear. "We could destroy you, but we choose not to." The Zoltari ships stopped firing. Their communications went silent. Then as one they turned and disappeared back into hyperspace. "They will tell the Council," Morgan said. And so it begins. Earth had arrived on the galactic stage, and nothing would ever be the same. Alani Prime was unlike anything the humans had ever seen. The planet glowed with soft blue light. Towers of crystal and living material reached toward the sky. The Leviathan orbited the planet surrounded by Alani ships, their safe passage guaranteed, at least for now. Admiral Morgan prepared to travel to the surface. She chose her team carefully. Chief Engineer Susan Rivera to explain their technology. Lieutenant Kate Foster for Security Communications Officer Amy Wilson to help with language. And one surprise, a person no one on the ship knew about except Morgan in her private quarters. Morgan opened a hidden compartment in the wall. A small container sat inside. She pressed her thumb to the lock. It opened, revealing a data crystal and a small device. She took both items and placed them in her pocket. The final part of their mission. The part only she knew. The shuttle bay was busy with activity. The small craft that would take them to the surface was being checked and double-checked. No one knew what to expect on Alani Prime. They had to be ready for anything. Kate approached her. "Admiral, the team is ready. The shuttle is prepared." The Alani sent coordinates for landing. Morgan nodded. Any word from Heather? Kate shook her head. "Nothing. Since the battle, she may have been discovered." Morgan frowned. That was a risk they had known about. Heather had volunteered knowing she might never return. She was brave, perhaps the bravest of them all. The team boarded the shuttle. Morgan took one last look at the Leviathan, her home for the past year, the ship that carried the hopes of Earth. She gave final instructions to her second-in-command. "If we do not return in 24 hours, take the ship back to Earth. Tell them what happened here." And here she handed over 2 data crystals, copies of the most important information they had to survive. Even if she did not, the shuttle launched. The journey to the surface was smooth. The Alani provided a flight path that avoided their defense systems. The craft broke through clouds, revealing the amazing landscape below. Vast cities spread across continents, connected by lines of light that pulsed with energy. The ocean glowed with bioluminescent life. They landed on a platform near the tallest tower. A group of Alani waited for them, their bodies translucent, showing swirls of color within. They stood 7 feet tall, with 4 arms and large eyes that blinked slowly. They wore no clothes but had markings that seemed to indicate rank or status. Morgan led her team down the ramp. She stood straight and proud, representing all of humanity. The Alani approached. One stepped forward, taller than the rest, with complex patterns across its skin. "I am Elder Lysera," the being said, its voice melodic. The translator in Morgan's ear worked perfectly. "Welcome to Alani Prime. Admiral Morgan. We have prepared a place for discussions. The council members arrive soon. Some are already here. Some are angry. Be careful what you say." Morgan bowed, slightly showing respect. "Thank you for your intervention, Elder Lysera, and for your hospitality. We come seeking understanding, not conflict." The elder made a gesture with its upper arms. "Follow." They walked through corridors of living crystal that seemed to sing softly. The walls changed color as they passed. Morgan noticed security systems hidden in the walls. Advanced technology disguised as art. The Alani were not as peaceful as they appeared. They entered a large chamber with a round table. The symbol of the Galactic Council displayed above. Representatives from several species already waited. Some Morgan recognized from the data they had collected. Zoltari crystalline beings that glittered in the light. Phyrexians, insect-like creatures with compound eyes. Taurans, massive beings with thick skin and small eyes. And others she did not know. The Alani elder spoke. "These are the humans. They come to present their case. Listen before judgment. That is our way." Zoltari representative stepped forward, his body crackling with energy. "They attacked our ships. They used technology beyond their classification. They must be contained." Morgan kept her face calm. "We defended ourselves after being fired upon. We seek only recognition as equals, not conflict." A new voice spoke from the doorway. One that surprised everyone. "I can confirm what the Admiral says." All eyes turned. A human woman entered the room, but not just any human ambassador. Heather Blackwell. Her disguise gone. She wore an Earth uniform, now with the symbol of the diplomatic corps. The Phyrexian representative clicked her mandibles in shock. "The servant. You were the servant." Heather smiled. "I was, and I heard everything. The plans to mine Earth without permission. The experiments on humans. The broken agreements. Earth has been patient. We have watched. We have learned. Now we seek our rightful place." The room erupted in angry voices. The Alani elder raised all 4 arms. "Silence. The council will hear all sides. That is our law. The humans will speak. Then we will decide." Morgan nodded to Heather, who took position beside her. Susan and Kate stood ready. Amy recorded everything for later study. Morgan began. 50 years ago, an alien ship crashed on our planet. We discovered we were not alone. We also discovered something troubling. She activated a small projector showing images, documents, recordings, secret meetings of council members discussing Earth reports of illegal mining operations, medical experiments on humans, stories the council told themselves about primitive species not ready for the stars. For 50 years, Morgan continued, we have watched you take from our planet, study our people without permission, treat us as specimens, not equals. We developed in secret. We built our ship. We came here not for war, but for recognition. We asked to join the council as full members. The room was silent for a moment. Then the questions began. How did you build such a ship? How does your shield technology work? Who helped you? Why should we trust you? Susan explained the quantum shield matrix, how it absorbed energy and redirected it. The council members were impressed. Some were frightened. Such technology could change the balance of power. Kate described Earth's defensive capabilities, not threatening but making clear that humans could protect themselves. The message was subtle but clear. Attack us at your peril. Amy translated complex technical terms, helping bridge cultural differences. Her skills proved valuable as tensions rose and fell. Throughout the discussion, Morgan watched the Alani elder. The ancient being observed with those large eyes, missing nothing. The other council members argued, but the elder remained silent. Morgan knew the Alani would be the deciding voice. Their species was the oldest, the wisest. After hours of debate, the elder raised a hand. Enough. We will recess. The formal council meeting begins tomorrow. All members will be present. The humans will wait in the quarters we have prepared. The team was led to a suite of rooms, beautiful but clearly monitored. Morgan gathered everyone close and whispered, "We say nothing important here. We are being watched. Wait for my signal." Night fell on Alani Prime. The team rested except Morgan. She waited until the others slept. Then she took out the device from her pocket, a small sphere that glowed softly. She pressed it in a specific pattern. The sphere hummed, then projected a shield around her, a privacy field. No one could hear or see what she did next. She activated the data. Crystal A hologram appeared. A woman in an Earth military uniform. Director Samantha Wright of the Planetary Defense Initiative report. Director Wright said, her image flickering. Morgan spoke quietly. Phase 1. Complete. We have made contact with the Council. The Alani have provided temporary protection. The Zoltari and Vrexians are hostile as expected. Others remain neutral. I believe we can secure a position for Earth, but we need leverage. Wright nodded. The Atlantic Fleet is ready. 6 more ships like Leviathan, but designed for planetary defense. When you give the signal, they will rise. They will take position around Earth. A show of force to support your diplomacy. Morgan considered this. A dangerous move, but perhaps necessary. I will signal if needed. The Council meets tomorrow. If they reject our petition, I will have no choice. Be careful. Diane Wright said, her voice softer. This is the moment we planned for. The moment that determines Earth's future. The hologram faded. Morgan deactivated the privacy field. She returned the devices to their hiding place. Tomorrow would decide everything. Morning came. The team prepared for the council meeting. Morgan noticed Susan looked worried. What troubles you? Engineer. Susan spoke quietly. Admiral, the quantum matrix on the Leviathan. It was damaged more than I reported. The shield will not withstand another major attack if the Council votes against us. If they attack again, Morgan placed a hand on her shoulder. Let us hope it does not come to that. But if it does, we have other options. The council chamber was full. All 17 species represented. The Alani elder presided. The discussion began formally, each species stating their position. Most were cautious, some hostile, a few curious about what humans could offer. As the debate continued, Morgan felt the room shift against them. The fear was too strong, the balance of power too delicate. The Zoltari representative proposed a motion: Earth would be placed under quarantine. The Leviathan confiscated. Its technology studied humans restricted to their solar system for 500 years. Morgan stood. She looked at each council member. Then she nodded to Amy. Send the signal. Amy pressed a small device on her wrist. A simple code sent to the Leviathan. Then relayed to Earth. Morgan addressed the council. You fear us because we surprised you. You think us primitive yet dangerous. You wish to contain us. This is not acceptable. The main screen in the chamber activated, showing Earth from the Atlantic Ocean. 6 massive ships rose, water cascading from their hulls. They took position around the planet, their weapons obvious, their message clear. These are our. The Galactic Council chamber erupted in chaos. News of the human ship spread fast. The 17 species that ruled this part of space gathered in emergency session. Their voices rose in fear and anger. The Zoltari delegates showed images of their damaged warship over and over. The Vrexians, tall insect-like beings, called for immediate military action. The Alani, oldest of all present, urged caution. Their translucent skin changed colors as they spoke, showing their concern. In the back of the room, Ambassador Heather Blackwell watched and listened. She looked like any other human servant in the council building. No one paid attention to the small woman who poured drinks and carried messages. But Heather was Earth's eyes and ears. She had lived among aliens for 5 years, learning their ways, gathering information, preparing for this day. The Zoltari representative stood his crystal body, catching the light. His voice rasped through the translator. The human vessel uses technology beyond their development level. They must have stolen it. They are dangerous. They must be contained. The Vrexian leader clicked her mandibles in agreement. These primitives show aggression. Their ship sits at the edge of our territory, making demands. They fired on Zoltari vessels. They must be taught their place. Heather moved slowly around the edge of the room, heading for the exit. She needed to send a message to the Leviathan. She knew what would happen next. The council would vote. They would send more ships, not to talk, but to destroy. In a quiet hallway, she activated her hidden communicator. The message was brief. Council divided. Zoltari most threatened. Ilani potential allies. Expect probing attack within 30 hours. Back on the Leviathan, Admiral Morgan received the message. She called her officers to the command center. They gathered around the holographic display showing the positions of nearby star systems and known alien outposts. Chief Engineer Susan Rivera spoke first. The quantum shield matrix is stable, Admiral. But we never tested it against sustained attack. If multiple ships fire at once for a long period, I cannot guarantee it will hold. Morgan nodded. We knew this was possible. She looked at the others. What are our options? Lieutenant Kate Foster studied the star map. We could retreat. Back to the edge of our solar system. Show them we mean no harm, Security Chief. Tina Russell shook her head. That shows weakness. They would follow us right to Earth. We need to stand our ground. Communications. Officer Amy Wilson raised her hand. I have been monitoring their communications. Some ships talk about a planet called Ilani Prime. It seems important to the Ilani. Maybe we could go there. Ask for sanctuary. Morgan considered this. Interesting. The Ilani are the oldest species. They might listen to reason. The reports from Heather suggest they could be allies. The officers continued to discuss plans. Meanwhile, Susan returned to engineering to work on the shield matrix. Kate monitored the movements of alien ships in nearby systems. Amy listened to more communications, trying to learn anything useful. Hours passed. The crew of the Leviathan waited. The tension grew in her private quarters. Morgan reviewed everything they knew about the Galactic Council project. Leviathan had collected data for years from crashed alien ships, from signals captured by secret listening posts, from the reports Heather sent. But there was still so much they did not know. A knock on her door. Kate entered. Admiral, we detect multiple ships approaching. 7 Zoltari vessels, 3 Vrexian. They will reach us in 20 minutes. Morgan stood. Good work. Inform all stations. Battle readiness. Susan needs to be ready. She followed Kate to the bridge. The crew took their positions, fear mixed with determination on their faces. They had trained for this. But now it was real. On the main screen, the alien fleet appeared. The ships were different shapes and sizes. The Zoltari vessels looked like giant crystals, sharp and angular. The Vrexian ships were round with spikes like insects. They have weapons powered up. Admiral Kate reported. They are moving to surround us. Morgan took her command chair. Keep the matrix at full power. No offensive actions unless I order it. Let them make the first move. The alien ships spread out, forming a half circle around the Leviathan. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then a message came through. This is Commander Zeltan of the Galactic Council Defense Fleet. The voice said in Galactic. Standard, your vessel has violated Council space. Your weapons technology is illegal for your species classification. You will power down and prepare to be boarded. You will surrender all technical data. You will return to your planet under escort. Failure to comply will result in your destruction. You have 5 minutes to respond. Morgan smiled. They fear us, she said quietly. That is why they send so many ships. That is why they want our technology. She turned to Amy. Open a channel. Amy worked. Her controls, channel open. Admiral Morgan stood straight and proud. This is Admiral Diane Morgan of Earth. We do not recognize your authority over us. We have not violated any agreements, as we have no agreements. Earth has never been invited to join. Your council. We have never been asked about rules. We are simply explorers seeking diplomatic relations. We will not power down. We will not be boarded. We will defend ourselves if attacked. We suggest you reconsider your approach. She nodded to Amy, who cut the transmission. The alien ships moved closer. Their weapons glowed, ready to fire. Susan called from engineering. Admiral, I have modified the matrix. I can now target the energy we absorb. We can hit specific systems on their ships. Engines, communications, weapons. But doing this will drain power faster. Good work, Morgan said. That gives us more options. On the screen, the alien commander appeared again. His crystalline face showed no emotion, but his voice sounded angry. This is your final warning. Power, down now. Morgan shook her head. No. The alien ships fired all at once. Energy beams, missiles, strange weapons the humans had never seen before. All hitting the Leviathan shields. The quantum matrix glowed brightly as it absorbed the attack. The ship shook. Alarm sounded. Shield matrix at 80%, and holding Susan reported power levels stable for now. Return fire, Morgan ordered. Target weapon systems only one ship at a time. Show them what we can do. The Leviathan fired. The energy collected. By the shields focused into tight beams. Each beam struck a weapon port on a different alien ship. With surgical precision, the affected ship's weapons went dark. The aliens paused, surprised, then fired again. More intensely, shield matrix at 60%. Susan called. Some energy bleeding through. Deck 3 reports minor damage. Morgan remained calm. Continue defensive fire. Disable as many weapons as possible. The battle continued. The Leviathan taking damage but giving back as good as it got. The quantum matrix worked as designed, but it could not hold forever. Then something unexpected happened. 3 new ships appeared. They were unlike the others, elegant with smooth lines glowing with soft light. They moved between the Leviathan and the attack fleet. New voice came through communications. This is Elder Lysera of the Alani High Council. This conflict ends now. The attacking ships stopped firing. The Alani vessels formed a protective barrier. Elder Lysera continued. The human vessel will come to Alani Prime. There we will hear their case. The council will meet in 3 cycles. All members will attend. No further hostile action is permitted. The Zoltari commander protested. They attacked our ships. They use forbidden technology. The Alani Elder responded. They defended themselves after you fired. They use technology we have not seen before. That makes it unknown, not forbidden. The Alani have decided this matter requires proper discussion, not violence. The attacking ships slowly backed away. The Alani vessels remained. A new transmission came. This one directly to the Leviathan. Admiral Morgan. You will follow our ships to Alani Prime. There you will present your case to the full council. We offer safe passage. Morgan looked at her officers. They nodded in agreement. We accept. Morgan replied, Thank you for your intervention, as the Leviathan moved to follow the Alani ships. Morgan allowed herself a small moment of relief. They had survived the first test, but the real challenge was just beginning. Now they would face the entire council. Now they would learn if Earth could find a place among the stars. On Alani Prime, Ambassador Heather Blackwell prepared to reveal herself. The time for hiding was over. The time for humans to stand, as equals, had come. She thought of Earth so far away, so vulnerable, yet now with hope she smiled. The plan was working. The next phase would soon begin. 1 month after the council vote, the human embassy on Alani Prime bustled with activity. Earth had joined the galactic community. Provisional membership came with both rights and responsibilities. Admiral Morgan now served as military attaché to Ambassador Heather Blackwell. The 2 women worked together to navigate the complex politics of the council. Morgan stood at the window of her office, watching alien ships move through the sky. The embassy was a tower of Earth design with elements of alien architecture, a symbol of cooperation. But inside, Morgan knew the truth. Not everyone welcomed humans. Some still plotted against them. Her computer chimed. Lieutenant Kate Foster appeared on screen. "Admiral, we have a situation. Security teams detected 3 separate intrusion attempts last night, all targeting our technology database. The Zoltari are getting bolder." Morgan frowned, not surprised. This was the 3rd such attempt in 2 weeks. The Zoltari wanted the quantum shield matrix. They had become obsessed with it. Their entire defense strategy relied on energy weapons, now useless against Earth ships. Keep me updated. Lieutenant, increase security protocols, add another layer of false data. Let them steal things that look important, but are actually useless. Kate nodded. "Yes, Admiral." She paused, then added, "Susan asked to see you. Something about the construction project." Morgan smiled. "Tell her I will be there shortly." She gathered her materials and left the office. The embassy corridors were filled with humans and aliens working together. Earth scientists learning about alien biology, alien engineers studying human manufacturing techniques. On the surface, all seemed well, but Morgan knew better. She took a private elevator to Subby, Level 3, an area restricted to top clearance only. The doors opened, revealing a massive construction bay. Here Susan Rivera worked on Earth's newest project. Susan looked up from a holographic display as Morgan approached. "Admiral," she said, her face lighting up. "We had a breakthrough. The new drive system works. The simulations show we can achieve faster travel than any Council ship." Morgan examined the display. The technical details were complex, but the results clear. The new ship under construction would be faster, smaller, and more maneuverable than the Leviathan. A perfect escort vessel. "Excellent work," Susan, Morgan said. "How soon until the prototype is ready?" Susan calculated 2 weeks for assembly, then testing. Maybe a month total. "If we get the materials we requested from Earth." Morgan nodded. Director Wright had promised those materials on the next transport. The Atlantic Fleet was now making regular runs between Earth and Alani Prime, bringing supplies, technology, and more personnel. The Council watched these ships carefully, but they could not interfere. Earth was a member now with rights to travel. As they discussed technical details, a message came through on Morgan's secure channel. Ambassador Blackwell requested her presence urgently at the Council chamber. Something had happened. Morgan hurried through the embassy, taking a transport to the Council Tower, the massive structure where the 17 species governed the galaxy. She found Heather outside the main chamber. Her face tense. "The Vrexians have proof," Morgan, Heather said quietly. "They found evidence of our surveillance, our years of watching before we revealed ourselves. They claim we violated galactic law. They want our membership revoked." Morgan kept her face neutral. "This was always a risk, we knew that." "What does the Alani Elder say?" Heather shook her head. "The Elder is concerned. This looks bad. The Council has strict rules about surveillance of protected planets. We broke those rules." The Council doors opened. The members were gathering. The session would begin soon. Morgan and Heather took their seats at the human section. They had only one vote between them. Still new. Still proving themselves worthy. The Vrexian representative stood tall, her insect body clicking. "With agitation, we have discovered evidence that humans have been monitoring Council activities for decades. Before their so-called revelation, they placed devices on our ships. They intercepted our communications. They watched our movements. This is a violation of Code 17. No protected species may develop surveillance of Council members. Humans must be sanctioned." The chamber erupted in angry voices. Some Council members demanded immediate action, others called for investigation. The Alani Elder raised all 4 arms for silence. "Ambassador Blackwell," the Elder said, "you may respond to these accusations." Heather stood calm and dignified. "We acknowledge that Earth monitored Council activities, but we remind the Council that this began after we discovered your presence. Your ships crashed on our world. Your people took samples from our planet without permission. You studied us without consent. You treated us as specimens, not equals. We watched you because you watched us. We learned about you because you gave us no choice." We protected ourselves as any species would. The Zoltari representative, his crystal body flashing with anger, spoke next. The humans deceived us. They developed technology in secret. They built weapons. They hid their true capabilities. This shows hostile intent. Morgan stood to address this. "Let me ask you, Representative," she said, her voice firm. "If you discovered unknown beings taking resources from your world, experimenting on your people, watching from the shadows, would you announce your discoveries? Would you reveal your defenses, or would you learn everything you could first? Would you prepare to protect your people?" The council chamber went quiet. Her words hit home. Many species had faced similar situations in their early development. The Terran representative, a massive being with thick skin and small eyes, spoke for the first time. "The human makes a fair point. My people also developed in secret when we first encountered others. Fear is natural, protection is instinct." The debate continued for hours, each species adding their perspective, some sympathetic to Earth. Others, suspicious alliances shifted, arguments grew heated, then cooled. The politics of the galaxy played out before them. Finally, the Alani elder spoke. "We have heard all sides. In the matter of human surveillance, the Council finds Earth acted from self-preservation, not malice. No sanctions will be imposed, but a warning is given. Future violations will not be viewed with such understanding. The provisional status remains." Morgan and Heather exchanged glances, relief but also concern. The vote had been close, too close. They needed allies. More than just the Alani. After the session, they returned to the embassy. Morgan called an emergency meeting with her staff. The situation had become more complicated. They needed a new approach. Lieutenant Kate reported more security concerns. 3 diplomats from different species requesting tours of the Leviathan, probably looking for weaknesses. Susan warned about supply chain issues. The materials for the new ships were being delayed, possibly deliberately. Communications officer Amy discovered encrypted messages between the Zoltari and Vrexians. Something was being planned. Morgan listened to all reports, then made her decision. "We need to show strength but also friendship. We need allies, not just the Alani." Call Director Wright. "Tell her to send the new educational and medical technologies we developed, the ones we were saving. We will share them with all Council species. But first with those who supported us today." Heather nodded, understanding. Generosity from strength, not weakness. A good strategy. The next week, the human embassy hosted representatives from 5 species. The Alani, the Taurans, and 3 minor council members. Earth scientists presented medical technology that could cure diseases that plagued these species. Engineers showed energy systems that were more efficient than current designs. Diplomats offered cultural exchange programs. All freely given. All advancing peaceful cooperation. The strategy worked. These 5 species became supporters of Earth in council votes. Their citizens began to visit Earth under careful supervision. Cultural exchange flourished. Trust grew slowly but steadily. But the Zoltari and Vrexians continued their opposition. Their ships patrolled near Earth space. Their spies attempted to steal technology. Their diplomats blocked human initiatives in the Council. 2 months after gaining provisional membership, Morgan received a disturbing report from Earth. A Zoltari ship had been caught in Earth's atmosphere, taking samples from the ocean. When confronted, it fired on an Earth patrol vessel. No one was hurt, but the action violated. Council Law Morgan brought this to the Council. The evidence was clear. The Zoltari representative could not deny it. The Council had no choice but to sanction the Zoltari. Their voting rights suspended for 1 cycle. A major diplomatic victory for Earth. That night, as Morgan returned to her quarters, she found a message waiting. A simple text file with complex encryption. Only she could open it. The message was, "From Director Wright, Project Phoenix is ready." Morgan smiled. Project Phoenix. The next phase of Earth's plan. Not just defense but expansion. Not just membership but leadership. The creation of a human fleet that could protect not just Earth but allies. the foundation of a new power in the galaxy. She sent her reply. Begin. The next morning, news spread through the galaxy. 6 more ships had emerged from Earth. Not battleships, but research vessels, exploration craft, diplomatic carriers. Earth was coming to the stars, not as conquerors, not as subjects, but as partners, ready to help, ready to trade, ready to join the great galactic community. Some feared this expansion. Some welcomed it. None could stop it. Earth had taken its place among the stars, with strength, wisdom, and determination that had begun with one ship, the Leviathan. The day it appeared, the galaxy held its breath. Now the galaxy watched as humanity stepped forward into a new era in her office. Morgan looked at the stars again. So many worlds, so many possibilities. 1 year after the Leviathan first appeared in Council space, humanity had transformed Earth cities, now featured alien technology. Clean energy powered everything. Medical advances extended human lifespans. The first civilian ships made regular trips. To nearby star systems, Earth had changed forever. Admiral Diane Morgan stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, a massive structure orbiting Jupiter. The joint human-Alani construction served as a training center. Below her, the graduation ceremony for the first class of the Interstellar Academy took place. Cadets from 6 species, including humans, received their commissions. Young officers who would serve on mixed crews, ambassadors of cooperation. Morgan wore her dress uniform, her silver hair neatly trimmed, her posture perfect as always. She had aged during this year of diplomacy, and defense lines around her eyes showed the stress, but also pride. Earth had achieved so much in so little time. Ambassador Heather Blackwell joined her at the window. Quite a view, she said, smiling. These cadets will serve on the new ships. Their training includes both human and alien tactics, techniques, and procedures. They will bridge our cultures. Morgan nodded. Worth every sacrifice, she agreed, thinking of the long years of secret work, the difficult decisions, the risks they had taken. But now, looking at the results, she knew it had been right. Earth now had 12 major ships in space. The Leviathan remained the flagship, but newer vessels incorporated improved technology. The quantum shield matrix had been upgraded, weapon systems refined, engines enhanced. Earth ships were now among the fastest in known space. More importantly, Earth had allies. The Alani provided ancient wisdom and diplomatic support. The Taurans offered military cooperation and trade routes. 3 minor species signed mutual defense pacts. Humans were welcome in more systems each month. Not all had gone smoothly. The Vrexians had withdrawn from human space entirely, fortifying their borders. Intelligence suggested they were developing new weapons. They feared human expansion, saw it as a threat. The Zoltari remained hostile after their diplomatic defeat. They sought ways to undermine Earth at every opportunity. Politics within the Council grew more complex. Earth now had full membership, no longer provisional. Their vote carried weight. Their voice respected. Ambassador Blackwell had proven skilled at building coalitions, finding common ground between diverse species. Morgan turned as Lieutenant Kate Foster approached Admiral. We received the deep space telemetry. Kate said, her expression serious. The probes confirmed it. Something massive is moving toward Council space from the galactic core. The energy readings are unlike anything we've seen. The Alani elders are worried. Morgan had expected this. For months, unusual signals had been detected. Distant stars going dark. Strange radiation patterns. The Council ignored these signs, too busy with internal politics. But Earth remembered its own history, how being unprepared led to vulnerability. They sent probes, looked where others did not. Show me, Morgan said. Kate activated a holographic display. A section of the galaxy appeared. The spiral arm, where Council space existed. Then beyond it toward the center, a massive shadow moving slowly outward. Not one object, but many thousands, perhaps millions. The Eleni call them the Devourers. Kate said, according to legend, they come every 50,000 years. They consume everything in their path. The last time they appeared, the Eleni were the only species to survive. They hid their civilization, shut down all technology until the Devourers passed. This time, the Devourer's path leads directly through Council space. Morgan studied the display. The threat was real but distant. Perhaps 5 years before they reached the edge of Council territory. 5 years to prepare. Director Wright needs to see this immediately. Morgan said, "Send all data to Earth, highest security. Also, inform Ambassador Blackwell." "We need a council meeting." Kate nodded and left to carry out the orders. Morgan remained at the window watching the graduation ceremony below. These young officers might soon face a threat greater than any diplomatic tension, any border dispute. This was survival. She would need to accelerate the plans. Project Phoenix would move to its final phase. Later that day, in her secure office on Harmony Station, Morgan met with her most trusted staff, Susan Rivera, now Chief Engineer. For the entire Earth fleet, Kate Foster promoted to Security Commander for all human space operations. Amy Wilson, head of the Interspecies Communications Division. Morgan activated the privacy field, ensuring no one could listen. No one could watch. Then she revealed what few knew. Project Phoenix was not just about ships, not just about technology. It was about survival. The Atlantic Fleet, the first 6 ships that rose from Earth. They contain more than weapons, she explained. They carry seeds, genetic samples, cultural records, everything needed to preserve humanity. They can sustain 10,000 people each for decades. They can travel beyond Council space if needed. They are our insurance. Susan nodded, understanding. "We suspected something like this, especially when you had us install the extended life support systems." The hibernation chambers. Kate looked troubled. "You think the Devourers are that dangerous? That we might need to evacuate?" Morgan met her gaze directly. "I think we prepare for the worst, while working for the best. The Council needs to unite all species, all resources focused on defense. But if that fails, Earth will survive. Our people will continue. Somewhere." Amy spoke quietly. "Have you told the Council about the Devourers?" Yet Morgan shook her head. "The Eleni know their legends, remember, but they fear panic. They want proof first. The probe data should be enough. We meet tomorrow." The Council chamber was silent as Morgan presented the evidence. The deep space telemetry, the energy readings, the pattern of stars going dark, the estimated timeline, the projected path. One by one, the Council members understood. The political disputes that had seemed so important faded before this threat. The Elani elder confirmed their ancient records spoke of such beings. The last Devourer incursion had nearly ended all life in this part of the galaxy. Only by hiding had the Elani survived, but hiding would not work this time. Too many worlds, too many people, too much technology. Already detected, for once the Council united. They voted unanimously to form a defense coalition. All resources directed to understanding and confronting the threat. Earth, with its quantum shield technology, would lead the research. The Zoltari, with their energy weapons, would develop offensive capabilities. The Vrexians, with their biological understanding, would study the Devourers themselves for weaknesses. Morgan returned to Earth to oversee preparations. Director Wright had already begun Phase 3 of Project Phoenix. New shipyards constructed in asteroid belts. More vessels laid down. The Atlantic Fleet prepared for its ultimate purpose if needed. Research teams worked day and night to improve the quantum shields, to find ways to stop the Devourers. Months passed. Information gathered. The picture became clearer and more frightening. The Devourers were not one species but many, all linked somehow, all serving the same purpose: the consumption of energy and resources, their technology, far beyond Council understanding. Their numbers overwhelming. Morgan worked with scientists from 17 species. In this crisis, old enemies became allies, united by survival. The quantum shield technology was shared, refined, improved. A breakthrough came when Susan Rivera, working with Zoltari engineers, discovered how to modify the shields to disrupt Devourer communications. If they could not coordinate, they might be defeated. 2 years after the Leviathan first appeared, a new fleet gathered. At the edge of Council space, 300 ships from all species. The largest military force ever assembled, Morgan commanded the human contingent, 25 Earth vessels including the Leviathan, now upgraded with all new technology. They would not wait for the Devourers to reach inhabited systems. They would meet them in the void. Strike first. Learn their capabilities, test defenses, a probing attack, not a final stand. The journey took weeks. The fleet moved in formation through systems no Council ship had visited before. Finally, they reached the designated coordinates. The edge of the shadow sensors detected the Devourer Vanguard, 5 massive ships, each larger than the Leviathan. Strange designs that seemed to shift and change. Surrounded by smaller vessels numbering in the hundreds, Morgan gave the order. The fleet moved forward. The plan agreed upon by all Council species. Attack, evaluate, retreat. Gather data. This was reconnaissance, not victory. The Devourers responded immediately. There, ships accelerated their weapons unlike anything seen before. Beams that bypassed shields entirely. Energies that warped space itself. The Council fleet suffered heavy losses. The Leviathan led the human ships, its quantum shields modified based on initial data. It absorbed, redirected, adapted learning with each attack. Susan Rivera worked frantically in engineering, making adjustments. The shield held barely. Morgan ordered a strategic withdrawal. The fleet had what it came for: information, knowledge, understanding. The cost was high, 67 ships lost. But now they knew what they faced. Back in Council space, the data was analyzed, the Devourers' capabilities assessed, their weaknesses, few but present. They could be hurt. They could be slowed. Perhaps they could be stopped. 5 years passed. The war with the Devourers raged across multiple fronts. Some battles won, more lost. But each engagement brought new knowledge, new adaptations. The Council species fought together, their differences forgotten. In the struggle for survival, Earth led many initiatives. The quantum shield technology now protected all Allied ships. The Atlantic Fleet,